guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another one of my videos today. So I think for the first time ever, I've got my hair up because we're having a heat wave in the UK and I'm melting already because I've had to have all the windows shut and I can't have the fan on to record this. So we'll see how it goes. So the hair's up, I've got snazzy earrings on instead, and today I want to bring you a video all upon where you start with inner work, shadow work, because this is a question I get asked so often, and I thought, right, let's cover it. Where do we start with inner work, shadow work? What is shadow work / inner work? And when do you know when you have to work on it, where to start essentially, and what to look for as well. So I hope you enjoy this video to get a cool, refreshing drink wherever you are, and I hope you enjoy this video. So shadow work or inner work is essentially those fears, that trauma, that limiting beliefs, whatever it may be, that shadow side within you that needs some light shone on it to heal, to transform, and to be able to help you manifest your dream life. So we have polarity here in this universe of yin, yang, lightness, darkness, all of it. So we can never fully eliminate the shadow self. I think a lot of the time people have this idea that they do this inner work and they're just gonna eliminate their shadow self or their inner critic, their inner child, whatever you choose to resonate with here. And it's simply not true. You're always going to have that shadow side of yourself, and it is that deep feminine energy. So it is that energy of the feminine, the darkness, the moon. You know, look at our lives. We live in polarities of seasons, moon cycles, light, dark, sun, moon, yin, yang, all of it. So we need our inner work, our shadow self, to be able to feel polarity, to be able to have cycles and phases within our life. And there will be times where we feel more drawn to doing our inner work, and there will be times where we feel more drawn to our outer experience of that sunshine, that summer, that masculine manifesting energy where we are abundant and we manifest and we don't necessarily focus on the inner work. We're out living and enjoying life. So it's definitely a cycle. And I would say, you know, it's not something you just do once and then you're clean. You know, it's not like a shower. You just have a shower once and you're clean for life. You know, it's witnessing and looking at when the work comes up, what work needs to be done, and knowing when you're just trying to find work as well. Like sometimes we look for work to do because we're like, right, let's shift things, let's find some work, when actually we just need to receive. We just need to take a step back, receive, and allow the universe to step in and meet us halfway. So there's two sides to it. You can either be someone who avoids the inner work altogether, or someone who is like so committed to the inner work because, you know, it feels good to do so and it's helping them to evolve, that they then don't know when to just be and relax and just put the books down, go out, have fun, and put the learning books down. So sometimes people can say shadow work and think like, oh, that sounds a bit scary. Like shadow work is definitely not something to be feared or anything to feel negative about. It is, like I said, just a part of our human being, and that's something we chose to come down and to learn with and work with and have these, you know, whether it's limiting beliefs, whether it's fears, you know, we've all chosen these as our divine assignments as such, to come down to this school of life, to learn, evolve, to heal with, to give us these lessons here on planet Earth in this lifetime. And the inner work looks so different for every single person. You know, some people may not have tons and tons of inner work to do. Others who may have had really challenging childhoods, may have experienced abuse, trauma, or, you know, really terrible, tragic things in their life, probably are going to have a lot more inner work, shadow work to work with. Again, our souls chose what we have, whether we have that easier path, whether we have that deeper path, you know, this is what we chose to come here down to the school of life and learn and evolve with and heal and transmute. So how do you know when the inner work needs doing? Well, quite simply, when something needs to come up, it's going to come up. A lot of the time people say, I really want to start with shadow work, don't know where to start. And I'm like, right, what's triggering you at the moment? And they may say, oh, actually this, or they may say nothing at all. So look at this. If nothing is triggering you, you don't need to do the inner work right now. You know, you're probably in your manifesting, receiving, outer experience to allow yourself to have that. You know, if you don't need to do the work, you don't need to do the work. But again, make sure you're not like bypassing anything, and make sure you're not just trying to be fake positive to like manifest. You know, if you are seeing resistance within yourself, if you're seeing limiting beliefs, if you are feeling fearful or triggered by things, that is a sign, the work, that there's something that wants to come up to be, you know, exposed to the light and to be healed so that you can move forward in your journey and manifest. So use that as your guide. If you feel okay, celebrate that. Like, celebrate that you feel good. That's not a bad thing. You know, when the work is ready to come up, it will come up. You can't control it, you can't force it. When something wants to come up, it will. When it's its time, it will. Just like with everything, divine timing. So a good place to start is looking at each area of your life and saying, you know, what areas do I feel positively wealthy in? This is in my book. And you know, what areas do I not feel positively wealthy in? You could rank them out of 10. So 1 being not very wealthy, 10 being I feel really positively wealthy. And if you don't know what positively wealthy means, it's a term I use for, you know, abundance, happiness, feeling good. Do you feel wealthy in that area of your life? So sit down with a journal and write down that for each area of your life. So work, home life, relationships, self-love, friendships, spirituality, manifesting. Look at all different areas of your life and see where you feel positively wealthy and where you don't feel positively wealthy. And then look at the areas where you've identified that maybe you don't feel so positively wealthy, and then see, right, why do I not feel happy or fulfilled within that area? And maybe it might be that you want some shifts. Maybe it's your own fears or limiting beliefs that are holding you back. Maybe it's you're trying to manifest something and it's not quite here yet. There could be a multitude of reasons, but this is going to be your key on where the work could potentially need to be done. So when you focus on the areas that don't feel so good, and this is my analogy that I give, and I've given on a lot of podcasts recently that I've done because it just makes so much sense to me, and it, you know, really represented that area, that time of my life where I realized more inner work needed to be done. So look at it like a garden, and each little bedding, each flower patch represents the areas of your life. You know, in a garden, in a real life garden, you have to water these plants, you have to nurture them, feed them, pamper them, maybe put some like fertilizer down to help them grow. You have to maintain and look after that garden. If you don't, you can't expect these beautiful flowers and trees and whatever to blossom in your garden. And likewise, if you're only focusing on half of your garden and you're watering it regularly, nurturing it, pruning it, fertilizing it, whatever, and putting plant food in and really nurturing those plants, that other side of the garden that's getting neglected and not watered and not fed is going to die and wither and not look very nice. And this is what we do so much in our lives as humans, because I did this. I was like focusing on the positives in my life, which was my work and everything going well in my business and work and career. So I was watering and shining all this energy and water and light and love into this area. But my personal life in all areas was just diminishing because I wasn't tending to that area of the garden. I wasn't looking at like, right, this is where I don't feel positively wealthy. Here's where I need to put that fertilizer, that love, that energy, that care and attention because this side is thriving. I just focused on the thriving part. So this is what we do. All of us do this. And it's, you know, witnessing that it's okay. And it, you know, once you witness it, you can move through it. And it's witnessing that, you know, you've done this, I've done this, and that we need to tend to all plants in the garden. If half of your garden is thriving, maybe it doesn't need so much attention. But when we go to the part of the garden that needs our love, needs our attention, needs that sunlight, needs that water, that nourishment, this is where that inner work is. This is where you are going to thrive by helping this side of the garden to blossom, by diving in, doing that inner work and seeing what needs to be shifted. So do that journaling exercise, do the flower analogy as well, the garden analogy of looking at what areas of your life you're not watering right now and see how you can give energy to them, how you can focus on them and face any fears, limiting beliefs, things you need to do, inspired action head on, because this is going to help you be able to shift that. Now, if you're experiencing fears or you know, more deeper things like trauma or really intense emotions are coming up, you have to allow yourself to feel this. So, you know, a lot of the time people put this fake positivity onto law of attraction when actually if you just address the problem and address the fear and accepted it, you know, witnessed it and allowed it to flow through you, you'd actually feel more positive so much more quicker than suppressing it and ignoring its existence. So make sure you're not doing that. But once you can see what areas of your life you don't feel so positively wealthy in, and then you're then looking at, okay, why do I not feel happy in these areas? What can I do in my power, my side of the street to, you know, feed and nurture this part of the garden and give energy to this area of my life. So that might be self-love, that might be setting loving boundaries, that might be like gaining confidence to change your job or step into your purpose, or absolutely anything. And it's really important that, you know, you witness what steps you can do, because that inspired action is what's going to kickstart this healing. And again, identifying those beliefs. Every client that comes to me, and I do this too, we are humans, we do this, we go with the surface problem of, you know, a lot of clients come to me and say like, oh, I'm just really not being productive right now. And actually it's got when you dig deep and get to that core wound, that core trauma or core belief, it's got nothing to do with productivity. It's actually something embedded in their childhood, for example, where they're not able to be productive or finish tasks because of something their parents said to them, or, you know, that's one example. There's obviously so many different things. But from doing inner child work myself over the last few years, and also qualifying as an inner child work practitioner, what I've learned and what really surprised me is that many psychologists actually, you know, have come to the conclusion that pretty much every single problem in our life, fears, limiting beliefs, trauma, all relates back to our childhood. And from doing deep work on myself over the last, gosh, 4.5 years now, and, you know, I keep thinking like, right, there's that layer done, and then you go into an even deeper journey, I see that how much mine links back to my childhood, and actually how what manifests in our adult life of this fear or this belief or whatever it is, sometimes like isn't obvious. It's sometimes not obvious. And this is why working with someone, whether it's like me as a coach or even someone in traditional therapy, can help you to, you know, work through these things. Because a lot of the time my clients say, oh my God, Emma, I can't believe you like pieced all of that together. And whether it's intuition or whether it's just that third person who can look upon your situation and actually say, okay, well, judging from what happened to you as a child and judging what happened here, you know, this is where these kind of jigsaw pieces are coming together on what we need to work on. So obviously you could do that yourself, but like I said, you know, you can't do everything yourself sometimes. It is good to feel supported, have accountability, and work with someone who does this day in, day out to help people. So like I said, whether that's working with someone like myself who's a coach and who does inner work, shadow work and inner child work, or whether it's like traditional therapy, counseling, CBT, whatever, you know, you will know what's right for you and whether, you know, it's good for you to work with someone or just explore it yourself. So listen to your intuition on that one fully. And ways that you can then work with those wounds, those limiting beliefs, that trauma, whatever it is once you've got your wound. So what I say, especially in relationships, is to say, you know, it frustrates me when they do blah, blah, blah. It angers me. So I get them to write a list of what frustrates them about their partner, or what their partner's not doing, or where they feel that, you know, they would like their love life to improve. So you could do this with any area of your life. So what frustrates you, what angers you, what triggers you, what frustrates you about that situation or area of your life, and mirror them back on yourself. So let's use an example. If you were to say, it really frustrates me that I'm underappreciated at work, you would then say, it really frustrates me that I underappreciate myself. So that outward mirror it back to yourself, and that's where the work needs to be done. Now you can use the mirror list to identify key statements, but have your key statements of that not surface wound, but underneath feeling, belief, or wound, whatever it is. And once you've got these and know what to work with, you can then do modalities. You could do like Reiki, crystal healing, you could do meditation, you could, like if it was like past life related, you could do like a past life meditation. Sound healing's really good. Gong baths obviously help as well. I mean, there's so much I've tried over the years. Like, there's so many recommendations, but like those are the sorts of things I would say to try. Also great things for like the cognitive side of things is obviously tapping, EFT. So you guys know how much I love Brad Yates. So Brad's YouTube channel is great. So type in the keywords of what you're looking for. Is it like the fear of not being loved, worthy, whatever? And then do some tapping, do some EFT on that, because EFT is emotional freedom technique, and it's our meridian points all over our body. And these meridian points are a bit like chakras, and chakra work as well really helps with inner work, like balancing your chakras and maintaining them and releasing anything from them. Meridian points with EFT are very similar to chakra points. That's how I explain them. So we have thousands all over our body, and by tapping these meridian points all upon your, follow Brad, he'll show you all of them, all upon your body, this releases energy from those spaces, that trapped energy that you have been potentially keeping there, feeling stuck, feeling stagnant. You're shifting that energy by tapping that meridian point, saying those affirmations and releasing it. So tapping for me has been such a great modality and tool to be able to shift limiting beliefs and cognitive work. IEMT is another great tool that I've used. I work with my friend Cameron Beddy on. He's a traditional counsellor and therapist because I felt that all of the spiritual tools in the world were great, but I feel I needed some real cognitive help in the human life, in this life, to obviously help shift those beliefs. So another great tool. I mean, there's just so much you can do, but again, not overdoing it is important, and allowing it to integrate as well. When you're doing meditations or deep healing and clearing, allow it to integrate. You may notice shifts straight away, you may not. You may take a week, 3 weeks to even feel it integrating and shifting within you. So do allow like 3 weeks to pass before you start judging whether it's worked or not. And, you know, also don't do too much at once, because otherwise, again, you're not allowing each modality and each tool to do its work. You're just cramming everything in, and then yeah, it doesn't always have the desired effect. So definitely do one thing at a time. Leave time and space between each thing that you're doing. Don't do like tons in a day or tons in a week. You know, do something each week to just help and contribute to that. And another really common thing is to have a healing crisis. So a lot of the time when I've done Reiki, I've done therapy, I've done deep meditations, past life regression, sound healing, whatever it is, you can actually end up having what's called a healing crisis, because that energy is coming up to the surface. It's like that band-aid you've ripped off and it's all coming up to the surface. So don't be surprised if it feels worse before it gets better. This happens in all healing and it doesn't last long. So a healing crisis can normally last for about 72 hours, so about 3 days. It can happen straight after the session or the thing you've done, or it could happen like a day or two later. It can feel like everything's worse. It can feel like, oh my God, I feel like that actually didn't help at all. I'm feeling all these thoughts, emotions. So give yourself that full 72 hours or even 4 days at least to allow it to pass through you. Honor yourself, allow these emotions, witness them, see what's coming up, because they could be clues to further work you need to do, and just be. And once you allow that healing crisis to pass, you'll find that you do start to feel shifted, and you'll see that work start to implement and, you know, embody within yourself. But again, give yourself that time, because it can definitely feel a bit backwards, but it does luckily mean that if it feels worse, then it's working and it will get better. So I hope this video has really helped you guys and given you some great tips on how you can identify and start working with your inner work / shadow work. Please do let me know what your thoughts are on this and what you do to help with your shadow work in the comments below, because I love to read them and love to see what you guys do, and I'm sure everybody else watching would really appreciate that as well. So thank you so much guys for watching. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all. And don't forget, you can join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook, where you can join myself and other like-minded souls, where we talk all things Law of Attraction and spirituality. I hope you have a great week, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love, guys.